Hi, my name is Shelly Van Dam. If you open this, you either A, Mr. Adams, my AP English teacher, B, a fellow student, C, bored out of your mind, or D, and this is what I hope you are. You're a concerned student, or parent, or educator, or politician who knows that there's something off with the United States educational system. In this conclusion, you would be correct. There is something amiss with the entire program. It is severely lacking. Lacking in value, lacking in funding, lacking in passion, lacking in adequate standards, and most importantly, it is lacking in specification for its subjects. The educational system, that which was envisioned by the Founding Fathers from a time of enlightenment and daring new ideals, and placed into effect during the Industrial Revolution, the defining point of American society, both economically and politically wise, is beginning to crumble if it does not wish to meet the same end as all other historical walls which hold back development. Berlin, China, Roman occupation of Britain, it needs to be revamped. Why is the main question everyone is asking? And for that I ask you to look at the current educational standards. What do you see? For decades, public education has been in play, funded by tax dollars and delivered to students across the nation in each state and district. Every year, a new graduate class must decide if they are ready to attend college or to strike it out in the real world. Yet how can any child be expected to be successful when they are severely limited by the means of their generation? Is it fair to ask them to sacrifice a class which will prepare them for a career they hold as their goal for a meaningless class that ensures they graduate? In comparison to the entire globe, the American system of education is too rigid and does little to prepare the students for their desired career, most of whom have decided by the time they complete 8th grade. For that reason, it is necessary to call for the restructuring of the national curriculum. Now, I'm not suggesting that we do this all at once. That would be ridiculous, rash, reckless, and ruinous. No, what needs to be done is slow reworking of educational progression from kindergarten to the graduate year. There have existed countless false promises and new innovations over the last 10 years alone. No Child Left Behind only served to alienate students based on academic standing and incorrectly distributed the taxpayers' money into unrealistic programs which denied the children supplies to be successful. These programs all have the same base problem, being designed by adults who have long been molded from a system that is long fallen as obsolete as the Commodore 64. For that, I cannot blame them, fully, for their efforts were made with the best intentions and tools available to them. For that reason, I propose a new strategy, continuing public education and bringing it back to the high standard we so fiercely pursued after World War II, all the way until this last decade, so it would appear. To begin, children will still begin formal education around ages 5 and 6, so that they have the necessary time to learn and grow with their family, both by blood and by choice. However, by this point onwards, they will be given basic comprehension from grades kindergarten through 6. This includes the arts, science, mathematics, foreign languages, English, and history, as well as helping them to develop a strong affinities for physical exercise to develop a healthy body to function in tandem with a strong mind. These 7 years are critical in setting in a foundation for more specified learning later on, when they have decided on their future career settings and the necessary skills needed to fulfill their goals. As of right now, anyone watching this would believe me insane to push such a demanding workload on mere children. Yet here's where they fail to consider two critical pieces of information. One, that is necessary for the continued advancement and sustainability of the entire nation. All United States citizens currently enjoy privileges stemming from our status as a world leader. Yet we still decline rapidly at rates we cannot hope to combat unless we take steps to correct age-old problems embedded in the system for the reasons we find necessity and drive to rebuild our ideals on education. Secondly, a child's mind is so elegant in its design and capabilities that Einstein, in comparison, is a Drosophila. Think back to being that young and open-minded. How quick did you learn to tie your shoes or ride a bike? What amount of time did it take you to grasp the household language or to understand that adding numbers together made a larger amount? When we are still young and starry-eyed, we can accomplish feats no longer even plausible to the adults. With a new system in place, we, the older and currently in control of fate, can maximize this for them so that they begin as the best they can be. Continuing on, the children are now at age 12 or 13. At this point, they have gained the ability to think abstractly, as their parents have by now noted from their arguments and strange ideas. My sister, I use as a reference for this, as she has delivered to us some of the most absurd impossibilities from her mind. Perhaps someday, with the right encouragement, she could turn them into reality. 7th and 8th grade, middle school, will be spent continuing on the formative years as well as allowing them to gain experience in every branch of career opportunities to them. They will be taken on field trips to job sites, research centers, universities, museums, performances by local artists, law offices, government buildings, law enforcement agencies, civil services. Everything shall be open to them so that they can decide at the end of middle school where they want to begin their advanced study. Additionally, they shall begin their studying their third language, this one being of their choice for pleasure, as the first have been introduced in about 3rd grade and assigned based on geographical prevalence. The next requirement being something more selfless. As of now, they are expected to complete 25 hours of community service a year. This may seem a bit extravagant, but it serves two purposes. It allows the students to feel more connected to their community and the world as a whole, and most importantly, shows them that they are capable of making an impact, of changing something they do not believe to be acceptable or ethical. The school will, of course, help in providing areas to begin, and will sponsor school-wide activities quarterly so as to foster unity and camaraderie. This idea stems from my school's current senior project, where we are all challenged to change the world we live in, for not only ourselves, but the people we love and those we may never have the pleasure of knowing, as well as having the added motivation of not graduating if it is completed. It is a remarkable idea, the only flaw being that the idea was introduced so late in our academic career that it may not have a big enough impact, which is why I propose this service project in middle school. The last years of public education, and while I myself might be in favor of lengthening high school by another 2 years, as they do in Germany, I cannot foresee that in the future of American education, or at least not while I still breathe, so we shall ignore that for now. These last 4 years, the glory years to some, are being restructured to mimic something more like prep school or college, so that when a senior receives their diploma that early summer day, they will also have a basic certification to work in the field that they choose to dedicate their high school tenure and the rest of their lives to. They will still exist basic requirements for graduation, among these government or politics, 4 years of physical education, which may be excused if they are playing a sport avidly or work out regularly, so long as they can provide proof, English literary classes, and their 2 foreign languages. After this, however, they will be free to rearrange their classes so as to allow for advanced studies in their career field, which was decided upon by them in middle school. It is not necessary for them to know the exact job that they wish as such, a molecular physicist or a pediatric oncologist. What they need is the general idea, that wisp of a thought that they are confident they can spend their lives in, a career that helps them complete that is familiar to them as breathing and helps to nurture their comparison and humility, their soul as it were. The whole system, this new planning that has you all looking at me with either questions at best or questioning my mental stability at worst. This is what it's aiming for to develop. Citizens not only of this nation, but the world, that can help us be better than we ever were, could have hoped for a dying dragon. I mean no disrespect, but it is time to let the past die. Having served us well and completely seeing us pass into the new era that shines in each child, it is time to let go. I'm well aware that what I propose seems drastic and ridiculous, especially considering my age of only 16 years, and having been educated under this said method, which I proposed is dismantled effectively for 12 years. Nonetheless, it is best I can hope to see not directly for myself or my fellow classmates of 2013, but instead so that they will indirectly benefit us when our younger siblings, nieces, nephews, and children are be able to start afresh, a privilege which we should have had long ago been made a right, and drive us into a new era. They will be the future, whilst we remain the present, if you allow this program to be placed into effect. If I have managed to convince anyone on my point, to have them tap into my wavelength, then help me. Let us take this to our politicians. Let us speak with our spokesmen and women. Let us give the media breaking news, and let us take it to the parents, ours and theirs, to let us move forward and not back.